Welcome to the Regenerative Viticulture Foundation. I'm Stephen Cronk, and I'm one of the founding trustees of the RVF, which is an international non-profit whose aim is for regenerative farming to become best practice of vineyards around the world. Conventional viticulture tends to have a monoculture approach, focusing specifically on the functioning of the vine rather than the soil or the surrounding ecosystem. This can lead to declines in native flora and fauna and often degrade soil through overplowing or the use of synthetic inputs. Regenerative viticulture is about working in concert with nature rather than against it, not only sustaining natural resources but improving them. It can also lead to lower input costs and improved fruit quality, leading to better wine. But what's required is a paradigm shift in our thinking about how we farm vineyards.
Hi, I'm Casteel in Oregon in the United States, and I'm also one of the founding trustees of the Regenerative Viticulture Foundation. So I want to talk a little bit about what regenerative really means in a viticultural setting. Regenerative is an adjective, and it describes our actions on the land and which direction that we're moving in. So we want to move our systems in a more regenerative direction. When we regularly disturb our environment, we are putting limits on what's possible in the future. And we want to always think about making more possible and allowing for more output into the future. And how is that possible? Well, it's only possible if we're bringing more energy into the system and not less. So if you think about a monoculture, a single species monoculture, that is an inherent limit on how much energy you can bring into the system, because photosynthesis is the method by which we harness energy with plants. So the more layers of photosynthesis that you're bringing into the system, trees, shrubs, vines, forbs, the more energy that our wines can have, and the more of that energy will feed the life in the soil. And it's important, it is critical to feed the life in the soil, because it is the life in the soil that creates structure and allows for more and more carbon in the system. It allows for more and more water in the system to be held and drained or used at the appropriate time, as opposed to just lost from the system entirely. When we bring animals into the system, we are turning nutrients over much more quickly. And especially when we can mimic what animals would have naturally done in any given ecosystem, the better that return is going to be for our grapevines and for the energy in our wines. All of the practices, whether it's keeping soil covered or just adding more layers of structure and function to an ecosystem and not a single species monoculture, the more we are moving the system in a regenerative direction. And that's what we're really trying to facilitate, is the sharing of practices that are regionally appropriate in any viticultural system to move it in a more regenerative direction, so that into the future, more is possible, not less.
Around 2 billion hectares of land on this planet have seriously degraded soils. That's an area twice the size of China, and that's driving species to extinction and intensifying climate change. Viticulture mainly represents a small percentage of global farming, but we must do our bit to reverse soil degradation, to reverse biodiversity loss, and alleviate some of the impacts of climate change. In essence, regenerative farming is putting back more than we're taking out. And the mission of the RVF is to create a community of like-minded wine producers from around the world, and to use evidence-based examples to demonstrate that regenerative farming will leave our vineyards and this planet in a better state for the next generation. Thank you for your support.